Hello, you bastards!
Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are reviewing the brand new album from a band called Stone Sour. Okay, Stone Sour. So the brand new album titled Hydrograd is Stone Sour's first release to not feature longtime guitarist Jim Root. There's a brand new guitarist called Christian Martucci who has now taken over Jim Root's absence. And so yeah, the brand new album Hydrograd, the name's a bit weird. It kind of came from Running for a Flight, and it was kind of a mix between Cyrillic and English language. And he thought he saw one thing, but then it turns out he saw another. And it was kind of the idea of, you know, what you see is sort of there but not really there, which is kind of cool. And I think that sort of theme kind of like plays on a lot of the album. So in terms of songs, the album is kind of all over the place. When I first listened to it, I thought it was terrible, if I'm brutally honest. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it had like a good flow or anything like that. But, and this is why you should always persevere with albums, because that was just the first listen, right? The more I've listened to it, I really, really like it. Corey's vocals are on top form here. I mean, he's kind of the main focus, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there are some cool, like really cool guitar solos, like on Mercy and things like that. Also on the title track, Hydrograd, there's a really cool solo. But it's kind of really interesting because it's arena rock, but then it sort of like veers off and kind of goes to somewhere that you wouldn't really expect it to. Like, for example, song 3, I remember when that single came out, I was kind of like, what's going on here? But then you listen to it and the chorus is brilliant. You know, it's so well written. I mean, Corey Taylor is known for his vocal ability.
Everything else is just dust and sound!
There's no question. I feel like the album's a bit trickster in the sort of way that it presents itself. Like the song called Type Personality, but it's actually talking about the type A personality, which is kind of like someone who's really highly strung and kind of like really driven to do really well. Saint Marie, where it kind of just goes completely mellow and it almost sounds like a country song. I mean, like, you could say that there's kind of like a bit of an identity crisis going on, but I don't think so, because the songs are so well put together that there's been a lot of thought kind of put into it. I mean, even the artwork, for example, is the 2 S's. So it's kind of like the idea of duality. So you've got this, you know, this kind of arena rock sort of thing, but it's also slightly experimental. And this is coming off the House of Golden Bones, which is the, you know, the double album that they did, which was kind of, it's almost like proggy. Oh, which brings me to another thing. It almost reminded me of Queensryche at some points. I know it sounds really weird, like a comparison, but like some of the melodies I thought were like really quite prominent melodies in like The Witness Trees, or Mercy is one of them again. But also the single, Fabulous, is brilliant. It's got a fantastic lyric. You spread your legs for TV, but baby, who fucks you best? Like, it's so, I mean, it's quite full on, but it's such a great way to kind of paint a picture, really, I think, which is what Corey Taylor's really good at. And I also feel that Stone Sour's always been kind of like his alter ego. You know, you've got like Slipknot, where it's like rah, the whole time, and then Stone Sour, I feel, is kind of, it's almost a bit more open, and he's not that he's hiding behind the mask, but you know, that sort of idea of kind of danger and things like that, they're not quite there, and he's a bit more kind of relatable, which I think is a great thing. Another song is The Witness Trees. You know, it's real kind of slow, like, and it's really great songwriting. And you know, the new guitarist, I'm not gonna lie, he does well, man. Like, you know, it sounds really good. And of course people are gonna miss Jim Root, but you know, people bitch and moan about metal all the time, but you gotta move on. And I think that Stone Sour have moved on really well with Hydrograd. It's a weird one, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it kind of takes some twists and turns where you're kind of like, well, what is going on here? But if you persevere with it, it's really great. And I think there's gonna be a lot of big songs that come off this record, because I know that some people weren't too keen on some of the singles, and neither was I, to be honest. I wasn't too sure, But then you hear the album in its entirety and you're kind of like, actually, no, this sort of makes sense. I kind of totally get it. Like, yeah, okay, some people will say they've kind of sold out and it's radio friendly. It is radio friendly, definitely, but it's weird. Like, there are some bits where you're like, why did they go to that chorus? So yeah, if you liked this review, please give it a thumbs up and give me a subscribe. If you didn't, tell me what you didn't like about it. Did I get something wrong? Was I saying something that maybe I shouldn't have? Anything you'd be able to tell me, I'd love to hear it. So yeah, and make sure that you keep your eyes open because you might see something you haven't quite seen before. I'll see you on the next one.